Win as one. EA Sports FIFA 21 sponsors Saturday Social.
Joe, I feel like the one place to start is Man United against Spurs, because it's two teams. Well, it's a massive fixture, firstly, but it's two teams that have had quite an eventful week, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, both on and off the pitch. Let's start by focusing on transfers, though, because both clubs still linked with some big names, aren't they? Tottenham, of course, last night confirming the signing of a new backup striker, Benfica's Vinicius. Manchester United, though, the news just will not change away from Jadon Sancho. But Sky Sports News finally think it could all be over.
Everybody here, from the sporting director, the head coach, the press officer, the fans, certainly the media, radio, television, newspapers, have said this all along to me this week, that why are you here? We've made it clear, the club have made it clear, we're not even following the story. The only reason that question was asked to Favre is because we asked Sky Deutschland, our colleagues, to ask the question. We're not allowed in because of the COVID-19 restrictions, so he kindly asked the question and he got that response. Yes, I'm afraid to say, I think it is the end of the road of Sancho to Old Trafford.
No, Chunkz, I want to hear from you here. Do you think United have left it too late? And do you think a little bit that Ole has been sort of left out to dry? One signing, not really good enough, is it?
I feel like it's the fact that, like, I don't think he had enough time to sign him, because they were trying to sign him for a long time, but it just didn't make sense. I think the amount of money they needed, like, in order to get Sancho across the board, it didn't make sense. Like, I don't think they had the money available, because over 100 million in the situation that we're in right now, I don't think it would have been smart. So I feel sorry for him, man. I do feel sorry for him.
Spencer, obviously West Ham have had a pretty poor window, but Man United seems to have got so much attention. What are your thoughts on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Do you think he's been let down a little bit by the club?
A little delay going on.
All right, I think maybe we've lost Spencer for a couple of minutes. We've lost Spencer, but this is what happens when you're working from home. So we'll move on anyway, because, you know, Manchester United fans might have to turn their attention to some other players. I'm hearing the likes of Ousmane Dembele and Edinson Cavani being linked, both of which slightly concern me and quite a lot of other Manchester United fans. I saw Mark Goldbridge online. He was tweeting saying, Cavani and Dembele, what are we, a football club or a hospital for injury-prone players to earn huge wages? So, you know, I'm quite nervous, Smithy, it has to be said.
Yeah, and I think we've got to go straight to Chunkz here, because I heard a bit of laughing over this graphic, Chunkz. So your thoughts on that tweet then?
Yeah, it is. Like, what else can he do, bro? You went for Jadon Sancho, obviously didn't work out. There's like 2 days left of this transfer window. Who's available? Like, you have to understand the fact that he's been given players on the list, and those are probably the best names on that list. If they get going, Cavani and Dembele are very good players. So, I think he's being a bit over-exaggerated. He's just upset the fact that Sancho isn't coming.
Chunkz, yes or no? I'm going to put you on the spot a bit here. Do you think Jadon Sancho will be a Man United player? I know we've been talking about this so many weeks, but I want to know, because the window ends before our next show. So do you think Jadon Sancho will be a Man United player? Yes or no?
Never. No way.
Wow. It's not the answer Joe wanted to hear.
No,
Joe, should we move on and talk Spurs? Because they have had quite a harsh fixture list. The Man United game will be their fourth game in 8 days, but it was a good week nonetheless. 7-2 victory against Maccabi Haifa, and of course that penalty shootout victory against Chelsea. But it wasn't the penalty shootout victory that got everyone talking. The big talking point online was the fact that Eric Dier had to run to the toilet during the Chelsea game, and he was followed down the tunnel by Jose Mourinho. Dier did end up winning the Man of the Match award, Chunkz, and he posted this on his Instagram, which I think is genius. The real Man of the Match. Now, Chunkz, I know that you're Arsenal, but you got to say this is. Did this win Instagram this week? That's a clever post, isn't it?
No, 100%. You know what I mean? He's played it. He's played on it and made a joke out of it, and that's what you have to do in those situations. Yeah, elite. The thing is, it kills as well. I've watched the Tottenham documentary just over the weekend. And it was incredible, man. I didn't know I was going to enjoy it because obviously me being an Arsenal fan, I can't say I like Tottenham more, but I'm just saying obviously it was a good documentary.
Love the way you phrase that. And of course, Chunkz, I don't know if you know, but we did know that Jose Mourinho followed him down the tunnel. Sky expertly caught that footage, but we have got some new exclusive footage that has never been seen before about that Eric Dier moment. Here it is. you go. You like that?
What's he doing with a shirt on? He looks so much like Eric Dyer. I actually believed it for a second. Goodness me.
Oh, brilliant. And this is what Jose Mourinho had to say about that incident after the game.
What Eric Dyer did is not human to do.
What? Of course it's human. What are you talking about?
We're going to see if we can hear Spencer now. Spence, are you back with us? I know we had a few technical difficulties. There he is. Can you hear us, Spence? You can.
Yeah,
okay, he's back. He's back in the room. Of course, worth pointing out, Jose was referring to Dier playing 2 games in 3 days there, not what specifically went on in the changing room.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. Chunkz, I love
I was thinking, what are you talking about?
Spence, these 2 teams, Man United and Spurs, very, very close. They're linked with a lot of similar players, both in January and in the summer. Bruno Fernandes, for one, Bale. There's a lot of players they're linked with that are similar. They're both linked with top 4. A lot of similarities between these 2 clubs. They play live on Sky, of course, this weekend. Who do you think, looking at it from the outside, will have a better season out of the 2?
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities. I think, it's a great thing for Tottenham that they're being put in that category. And unfortunately, probably for Man United fans, based on the last 10, 15 years, they won't like being put in that category either. Obviously, the fact that Mourinho's managed both sides recently in recent years as well, he's got that connection there. Gareth Bale is one player that could have potentially gone to United as well. So I definitely think that there's been a kind of meeting of the middle of these 2 teams over what used to be Man United, a bit more dominant than Tottenham. But I don't think either at full strength or full capacity at the moment. I don't think either have started the league particularly well. And I think if someone loses this game, it's going to set them back quite significantly in that race. Obviously, Liverpool already running away with it. But between them, to be honest, I was struggling with my fantasy team yesterday, trying to work out who I was putting where, and if I had Man United players or Tottenham players, because I feel like Tottenham, you either get a great performance or a not so good one at the moment.
Yeah.
Obviously, they've got a lot of players out as well. And Man United haven't really got going. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was a draw.
Yeah, I mean, one player that is going to be key to everybody's fantasy football teams this weekend, I think, is probably going to be Harry Kane. He's been on fire so far this season, hasn't he? 11 goal involvements in his last 6 games. But he is playing an awful lot of matches in a short space of time. Both his national team and his club manager having a little bit of sort of tension between them so far this week. Obviously, Jose was talking about wanting to give him a rest. Gareth Southgate responded to that quote by Jose Mourinho, saying that he hopes Mourinho will give him a rest instead.
It was great, wasn't he? He was on good form. I heard him. He won't foam, but he's going to stand at the top of Tottenham's stadium and tell us. So that was good. All Jose needs to do is make sure that in April and May, then he's got to look after Harry Kane for us, because there'll be 55 million people relying on that. So that obviously works both ways.
Oh,
okay, so there's Gareth Southgate saying effectively that he wants Jose Mourinho to rest him towards the back end of the season. Smithy, I want to hear your thoughts on this one. Do you want to see Harry Kane rested in a Tottenham shirt?
It's a tough one, isn't it? Just because the amount of games that Spurs have coming up. I think a massive signing for Spurs, Carlos Vinicius, not just, I'm not going to pretend I know a great deal about him, that he's going to get the levels that Kane can get, Joe. But I just think what it does is it means that Spurs can rotate a little bit and not play him every single minute, because we do know that his risk of injury. So I think that is a good signing for Tottenham, Joe. And it means that we can manage Kane's game time. Easy, not so easy for me to say.
Yeah, I mean, Jose obviously hit back at those comments from Gareth Southgate as well, didn't he, midweek?
What I can promise to my friend Steve Holland, and for Gary not to be jealous for my friend Gary, I can promise that until the end of the season, I don't play Harry Kane 1 minute of any friendly match.
Chunkz, what's your thoughts on this situation there with Harry Kane?
I understand where Jose's coming from, because obviously last season, one of the main reasons you guys didn't get the top 4 was the fact that Harry Kane and Son were out for such a long amount of time. So he's just trying to avoid that happening again, because I feel like he's probably getting pressure from Daniel Levy saying, like, you have to get top 4 this year. We've given you the funds. We've gotten Bell back. Bergman is in the team now. So it's like, I feel like he just knows that he can't get Kane injured. So he's just, I think, scared about the idea of Kane getting injured, basically.